reason why a lot of the Charlie Kirk memes exploded on the internet was because of the way that the Republicans tried to martyrize Charlie Kirk, and it backfired. It backfired for a couple of reasons. One, because we now live in a much more violent environment in general, where people are they're just not going to treat people in death with the dignity that you would normally demand, especially because all people are seeing is violence. They're seeing violence in Gaza. They're seeing violence in their schools, right? So from there, from the perspective of like a Gen Zer growing up in this environment where there's like school shootings happening, mass shootings happening all the time, and then they're like, you have to, this is different. This time it's different. And it's a dude who himself has said, school shootings are unfortunately going to continue happening. That's a price I'm, willing to pay for the Second Amendment, because that's what he did, right? That's what Charlie Kirk literally said. Of course, they're going to be like, all right, well, that's a little crazy. Yeah, we got ICE agents gunning down people in American neighborhoods. And then the entire Republican Party is defending this process, saying they're all fucking terrorists. And then what are we supposed to do? We can't even crack jokes, not even at the expense of Charlie Kirk necessarily, but more so the entire Republican movement that tried to force reverence. That's it. And I talked about this extensively at the time as well, when the Kirkification memes were exploding and people were like trying to figure out what happened here. They were trying to understand it. And I said, look, part of it is because all people have seen is violence. And the other part of it is because Republicans tried to crack down on left speech, political dissidents, and aggressively force reverence for a right-wing podcaster, to which people reacted this way about, because they were like, why would we do that? What is this expectation? You can't on the one hand design a world that is this violent, and then also on the other hand say whatever you want to say about George Floyd, say whatever you want to say about black people, brown people, all the time, call us pussies, say we're libtarded, woke, hysterical babies, only to then turn around and be like, no, this is our MLK, and you have to respect him. You have to respect him. How dare you? You need to get fired. Because they went after so many people. They went after so many goddamn people. They tried to fire people. They were analyzing my reaction to it. And I would go so far as say my reaction was more human than many on the Republican side's reaction was, including Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk's reaction was strange. So, from my perspective, last year, I taught 6th grade, and I had a student who wore a Charlie Kirk t-shirt the day after he was killed. Not even a month later, he was memeing with his friends and playing We Are Charlie Kirk song and laughing about it. Gen Z and Gen Alpha do not give a fuck. Yeah. The NFL was doing a moment of silence and shit. Yeah, Asmongold was running around months after he was like, well, yeah, everyone makes Charlie Kirk jokes. It's fine. Right? But prior to that, he was actually actively doing the mass phone calls to get people fired, mass harassment, mass doxing campaigns to get people fired. Some of the people that got fired weren't even like saying Charlie Kirk deserved it or anything like that, right? Many of the people that got fired were getting fired because they were like, hey, guys, here are some of the quotes that Charlie Kirk has put out there in the world. Here are some of the things that he defended. Can we have an honest assessment about his background? Can we have an honest assessment about what he represented in American politics? People got fired for citing the guy. Okay? People got fired for repeating his words. It is ridiculous. Yeah, this was my post on the Kirkification months ago. I said, this is part of the reason why the We Are Charlie Kirk and the Kirkification memes went insanely viral. You can't mandate reverence for a generation that saw their classmates get slaughtered in school shootings. Okay? Yeah. You cannot forcibly demand empathy for a person who was a person who considered empathy to be toxic. Okay? That's it.